The demolition of illegal buildings on farmlands has begun in Egypt after the government warned building owners to pay fines and receive license or else risk losing their properties. After many years of negligence, Egyptian president says his government will no longer accept illegal occupation of lands meant for farming. Experts say some buildings are not constructed at ideal locations and are a threat for national security. Here's more details of that in this report.
For decades, the Egyptian government has been somewhat tolerant of farmland encroachments. The result was a massive expansion in buildings over agricultural land. President Sisi says the government will no longer tolerate this policy and any violations will be immediately demolished. In 2017, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi gave a 3-year ultimatum to owners of all structures built before that year on farmland to pay fines and receive licenses in return. A zero-tolerance policy against all violations was to start in the same year. After a 6-month extension of the deadline, the Egyptian government is now launching a demolition exercise to bring down unlicensed buildings.
If it becomes necessary, I will order the Egyptian army to inspect Egyptian villages. I will not allow this to happen. The government, with the governors, will take all measures needed. We have enough equipment to demolish all these illegally built structures.
Since 2011, at least 2 million acres of agricultural land has been encroached on. 3.2 million buildings were constructed illegally. Using satellite imaging, the Ministry of Urban Development is surveying the entire country and reporting all violations of building laws to the authorities.
We've seen buildings 18 and 20 stories high in every narrow street, which tarnishes the landscape of the country as well as put many in danger with this random construction, which usually does not abide with safety regulations. Egypt is now looking at these encroachments as threats to national security. It's now a matter of life and death.
While these violations are said to be widening the food security gap in Egypt and wasting many job opportunities, people living in the rural areas say they don't have alternatives.
Many of those who build on agricultural land do not do so to defy the government. They are people who struggled to get small loans and small parcels of land to build a house for themselves and their kids. There are those who intentionally build additional floors. Their buildings deserve to get demolished, but many others are poor.
The government has built community housing projects for those who need shelter, but getting the required finances and paperwork is quite challenging for many of those working in the informal economy.